Dak, can you start by talking about your last sequence offensively where you went down just from the spike and then through the rest of that possession, including the 3rd and 2?
Yeah, I mean, that's just something we practice every week, just a 2-minute drill. In that situation, we had one timeout, I think over a little over a minute on the clock, and we executed. We did a good job of getting field goal range. Obviously, want to score a touchdown to put the pressure on the defense. Put the pressure on the other offense to go score a touchdown. But, yeah.
On that 3rd and 2 play, what happened on that? I know the ball was knocked down at the line, but what was the call?
I think it was Clay. I mean, he did a good job of just jumping up and getting his hands. I think I had Dez on the slant, but he really wasn't rushing. Clay, I think it was, whoever it was, kind of just playing into the offensive lineman and jumped up and got his hands. A good play by them.
You and this team all season long have prided yourselves on not getting too high, not getting too low, but what are the emotions after a game like that?
I mean, I think as low as they could get at this point. I mean, it's a terrible feeling. Yeah.
Dak, what do you take out of this game, though? I know it's disappointing, but when you look back at how this team came back and proved itself in the second half, what do you end up taking out of this game when you do have time to sit back and think about it?
Yeah, that we're going to keep fighting. We kept believing in each other. We kept believing in making that next play, believing defense was going to make stops, offense was going to make touchdowns, and keep us in the game. And, I mean, we did that all the way there to the end.
After you threw the interception, I think Jason Garrett said, "We're all right." Did you guys still feel like you were good at that point?
Yeah, 100%. Defense went out there and made an interception and gave us the ball right back, giving us a chance. Yeah, the guy made a great play. Bad pick. Wish I could have held the ball at that point, but great play by them. But we stuck together. Nobody flinched. Defense went out there and did their job and gave us the ball back.
Dak, Jerry said afterwards he's more convinced than ever about what this team can do now, about what he saw in the second half. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, we don't give up. We're not going to stop no matter what the score is, no matter the game, and it shows the true character of this team.
Let's start by talking just that last sequence, that the Rodgers throw to Cook on the sidelines, what they were doing, what coverage you were in, and what you were trying to do there defensively.
Well, obviously we got them in a favorable situation for us after the sack, and he's a big-time player, and one of the things he's best at is the ability to extend plays, and in that particular situation he was able to go left and find the tight end down the sideline. He made a big-time throw and made a great catch and put him in position. And I thought our defense did an amazing job scratching and clawing all day long, doing a great job after the rough start when they were in rhythm up and down the field. Our guys just kind of buckled down. We made some big stops. We started getting after him a little bit more. We covered better on the back end. We did a good job in that situation, but unfortunately he was able to make a big-time play and put them in a position to kick the game winner.
Jason, could you figure out why your team seemed to start a little bit slow there in the first half and didn't look quite like the way you did so much during the regular season?
Well, again, offensively, I think as much as anything else, there were a couple self-inflicted wounds. Had a good first drive, went right down the field and kicked the field goal. In the second drive, we had a big play that came back because of a procedural situation. It was a 15-yard penalty that got us behind the sticks, and all the while they were up and down the field. So I felt like we were in good rhythm offensively. We just had a couple things that got us behind the chains that forced us to punt. I thought the sequence, after they got it to 21, where we flipped the field position and we're down 21-3, and we're able to come back and get a touch and a field goal to make it 21-13 going into half. I thought that was big for us. They did a nice job coming out in the second half and scoring on that initial drive, but our guys just kept battling, they kept fighting, and to me, this game was so indicative of the kind of men we have on our team and what they've done all year long. A lot of different adversity, just to overcome it. Nobody blinked, everybody just kept playing. Obviously, we got ourselves in a great position at the end of the ball game to win it.
Jason, what was your decision to clock the ball there on your game-time field goal there with about 50 seconds to go? Why did you decide to clock it rather than play it out and hold the timeout?
We just felt like that was the right thing to do at that time. Keeping a timeout to be able to kick a field goal is really important if you can do it. So in those situations when you make a first down, we believe you clock it there so you keep that timeout in your back pocket. Obviously, in that situation, we're trying to go down and score a touchdown. So you want to keep as much time on the clock as you can. And then if the clock is going and you need a timeout to get yourself in field goal range, you have that one still available to you.
What was the call on that 3rd and 2 play, and did the pocket collapse? Did Dak move up in the pocket too much? The pocket collapse?
Hard for me to tell from my vantage point. I think we had some receivers open. The ball just was bad at the line of scrimmage.
How tough is this to stomach in light of the great comeback you made and what you did offensively in the second half?
Well, obviously it's challenging. It's challenging. When you're in playoff football, when you lose, you're done. And we got together way back when. You've heard me say this before, that we had guys in our building at Valley Ranch in January of last year working out on their own. And the commitment they made, the investment they made when we got together in April officially for the off-season program, time, energy, and effort they put in to this football team, what we did in the off-season program, training camp over the course of a 16-game season. It's a tremendous, tremendous investment. It's a physical investment, it's a mental investment, it's an emotional investment. And not only is it an investment in a goal, it's an investment in each other. And I thought that was on display today. We talk a lot about the word fight. Fight's a really important word for us. It's the foundation of our entire program. It's fighting to be your best. It's fighting to live up to the standards that have been set, high standards. But maybe more importantly, it's fighting for each other. And I told our team afterwards that these last 3 hours demonstrated who we are. The challenge in a game like this is to come in and be who you are for 3 hours. At the end of the day, if you walk out of here and you say, we represented ourselves and we were who we are, I think you can feel good about it. You can get your eyes forward and get your shoulders back. And there's no question in my mind, our coaching staff's mind, that we did that today. It wasn't perfect. We didn't coach a perfect game. We didn't play a perfect game. There's a lot of things we're going to look at and want to do differently. But who we are was on display. The fight that we have to live up what we want to do, live up to the standards, and most importantly, fighting for each other. That was on display in our stadium today against the Packers.
The second one, the hits that got intercepted, was this issue of them self-scouting or scouting you guys and just reading that play?
He just made a good play. He made a good play.
Is that a run pass? Is the play a run, but you're throwing that if the numbers are right?
Yeah, if you have a favorable look.
Is that the same? You ran that play in Green Bay and had some success early in that game?
Yeah, we've run that play a lot. Every team in the league runs that play. He did a nice job making a play on the ball.
Like I say, even though this game unfolded uncharacteristically from how games have gone for you all season, you felt you still responded true to who you were and went about this the way that you did.
Did you watch the whole game?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no question. Obviously, we want to start better. You want to play from ahead. That's not the nature of this league. You're not always able to do that. We did some good things early on in the game, and at different times they were able to get it going. But I thought defensively we did a really good job just really kind of buckling down. They got a lot of different weapons. The quarterback, at the end of the day, they're going to talk about that guy as one of the top 3 quarterbacks who ever laced him up. He's an outstanding football player. Someone said earlier this week, he's been hot for the last 7 or 8 weeks. He's been hot since 2008, and he's a great, great football player. And every time the ball is snapped, it's a challenge to contain him and the weapons that he has. And I thought our defense did a good job really just kind of bearing down and making some critical stops. Unfortunately, in the end, it wasn't enough. But there's no question in my mind who we are was on display today. Everybody just kept fighting, kept battling, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
Talk about the way Prescott played in his first playoff game. Certainly, he didn't cower in the moment.
He was fantastic. I thought he handled the situation well. And again, when you're down 21-3, really easy to start getting out of yourself and start doing things that are uncharacteristic. And I thought Scott Linehan did a great job just keeping everybody in rhythm. I thought Dak did a really good job executing. The guys around him made plays. Dez made plays. Whit made plays. Zeke got going as the game went on. So, in so many ways it was positive. Not the ideal start, but again, the guys battled back and demonstrated who they are.
What was the explanation you got on the pass interference call that put the ball down about the 20 or the 35-yard line there?
Yeah, didn't get a real good explanation on that.
Having listened to what you said, does this feel more like disappointment than failure? And do you need to convey that to the team if you haven't already?
Well, the objective for everybody is to win the Super Bowl, and obviously we didn't achieve that objective. And we have to look at ourselves and find a way to take the next step. But there's no question in my mind. On day one, the objective was build a team we're all proud to be a part of forever. And I can say unequivocally, I'm proud to be a part of this football team.
Jason, on the pass to Cook, the back end guys, is there a number there to drop into and just doing a wall, so to speak, or how are they supposed? What's the dynamics for the guys in the back end and how they're supposed to defend that?
Well, obviously, what you're trying to do, as much as anything else, you're defending field position in that situation. But again, when the quarterback is able to extend the play and get out of the pocket, and this quarterback is able to throw the ball from any body position to anywhere in the field, it becomes more challenging. So he made a big-time play. He bought himself some time. The coverage broke down a little bit, and they put themselves in position to win the game.
Unsportsmanlike penalty on Bryce Butler. Can you explain that and what happened there?
Yeah, unfortunately what happened was apparently he went into the huddle, came out of the huddle, and then he went back into the huddle. And apparently that's an unsportsmanlike penalty, and it cost you 15 yards. That was a critical play early on in the second drive. I think we made a big play to Terrence Williams on it, so it ended up being about a 30 or 40-yard penalty. And obviously we didn't handle that situation well enough.
After having seen the way we came back the second half, I don't know that any words or anything that can be said about missing this opportunity. But I will say this, I did see the team against a really outstanding team, great players too, but I saw this team really didn't stop competing all the way. The last took really some outstanding plays to have us sitting in this locker room like that. And so I know now that this team is capable of playing all the way through this thing.